Here we go, back on the original Bama Tailgate Show with Thom Abraham. I'm Mick Gillispie, getting you ready for the Crimson Tide of Alabama, number 4 in the country, hosting Middle Tennessee. But before we do that, let me remind you that our show is presented by Visit Sevierville. Yeah, Sevierville, Tennessee. Fall is a great time to visit Sevierville in the Smoky Mountains. We're in the middle of Smoky Mountain Harvest Festival right now, which means you got creative fall displays throughout Sevierville and brilliant fall colors in the trees. It's a lot of fun to check out, and you can do that at visitsevierville.com/fall. All right. Well, one of my favorite times of the year is talking football with this guy on the screen here, Thom Abraham from our great affiliate in North Alabama, 97.7 ESPN the Zone. How have you been doing, my friend? How's life treating you?
Life has been great. It's hectic right now with all the high school football and, of course, the college football getting going. And I'm still waiting for us to do the show from Sevierville. I love it. It's one of my favorite places in the world to go up there. But certainly it's been very, very hectic. And of course, I do know who the starting quarterback is from Alabama. I just can't tell anybody. I actually have a depth chart and everything, but I am embargoed from telling anybody. So that's been kind of the issue. I've had it for really several weeks now, but that's just between me and Nick Saban.
It's funny that my first question for you, and I'm going to read it. Is it okay for Nick Saban not to give a depth chart?
Yeah.
That's my first question.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you that. You're right in there.
There's need to know and want to know. We want to know. We don't need to know. We're on a need to know basis on it. So no, he doesn't owe us a depth chart or anything that looks like a depth chart. We'll all find out in a few hours. I think most of us have a pretty good idea of the way it'll go, at least to start the season, and we'll see how things develop. But no, Nick Saban does not owe anybody his depth chart. And in this day and age of kids jumping into transfer portal, if they have a bad practice, I don't blame them, because you want about 40 kids thinking that they're going to be an integral part of this team, and maybe they will be. We'll just see how many players are in the rotation. But when you typically on a defensive line, you're only going to have 3 of them out there at a time, but you might play 6 or 7 of those guys. So which ones do you pencil in first in their names? You know what I mean? So they have to understand that there might be, 15 or 16 quote unquote starters on defense that are going to play. Depth charts are way, way overrated. And guess what? I bet they know who they are. And I bet I bet Eli Gold and the broadcast crew, they have a depth chart. And I bet, much to Tim Brando's chagrin, I bet the TV crew that's doing the game has a depth chart and has had a depth chart for at least a week to do all their prep work. He's just not going to announce it to the general public, and nor does he have to.
I guess it tells us where we are, too, where you're worried about someone getting their feelings hurt, that Thom Abraham is listed over Mick Gillispie on the depth chart. Maybe I'm going to transfer to Auburn, right? All right, Thom, I'm with you, though. I see what you're saying. The need to know people know, and that's all that matters, right? Well, what do we need to know, and what do you expect to see today from Alabama's offense?
Well, first of all, I expect vanilla for the most part. If they can win this game without getting off of page 1, they will. Now, I have great respect for Rick Stockstill and Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders. I worked on that staff, on that broadcasting staff for 4 or 5 years. My son was on scholarship as an assistant coach there in his matriculating days back in 10 years ago or so. I like that staff. I like that program. Got great respect for them. They went to Miami and they won a football game last year, against the Miami Hurricanes. Now, this is a different animal in Tuscaloosa. So I suspect that the defense, especially of Middle Tennessee, is going to be kind of scrappy. Having said that, I really do believe that Alabama is going to get back to some ground and pound. I do believe that they're going to run the ball. They're going to try and shorten the game some. A lot of the penalty issues that we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years now go hand in hand with running a much more of an RPO and a much more of a passing type offense and spread and shifting and all of those things, because those are more things to go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one of the best things you can do is line up, use your tight end, stick your hand in the ground, roll off the ball, and pound a little bit. I do believe that Jalen Milroe will be the starting quarterback. I believe that he offers a real problem for defenses, because not only are you defending a great running back room, Now you got to defend that quarterback if he decides to pull it and go, or if he's back there looking to pass. We saw the damage that he did last year. He's still one of the fastest kids on the team, and what he can do in a scramble is a real issue. I think we'll see 2 quarterbacks, if not 3. I think we will see Ty Simpson, maybe Tyler Buckner as well. I do not expect to see Dylan Lonergan, to the chagrin of the message board people. Maybe, who knows? But I don't think that we'll see him now.
Very interesting. What's the most important position group going into today's game?
The offensive line. I think that's the key, is a cohesive offensive line that gets lined up and that is doing their assignments and doing what they need to do. Because you can't control the game with your defense. You can control the game with your offense. But with your offense, you can shorten the game. You can lessen the amount of plays that your defense has to play. You can keep your defense fresher. So if the offensive line could be that road grader run blocking type of offensive line where you can 6, 7, 8 yards of carry, working your way down the field that way, some 10, 12 play drives. If the line can do that, if they can pass protect and not be grabby and holding and all of those types of things that put you in a hole offensively, if they can do those things, the offensive line will dictate everything else in the game, because it'll shorten the game. They'll score their points. That's why I don't like it. For the bettors out there that want to lay 39.5 points, I would not do that, because I think that, they can win this game by 4 or 5 touchdowns and it'll look very great. And they haven't covered the line, so I think I would be careful with that. But that's what I think. I think the offensive line is the most important part of this football team.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. Everything you say, I agree with you. And including that. And I mean, if Alabama's going to find this identity as you call them road graders, they're going to have to go out there and block. I feel like Nick Saban, to me, looks really comfortable. Mm-hmm. I mean, you and I have been here since the beginning. When he's agitated, there's a reason why. He doesn't have a poker face. He just doesn't. Right. At least not to us anymore, when we've seen him over and over again. But when he's relaxed like this, other teams ought to worry.
I think he's re-energized with the new coordinators. You bring in a veteran defensive coordinator in Kevin Steele, who is a guy that's knows the system, has been there. There's no issues with terminology. There's nothing to do there. Mm-hmm. So I think that gives him a certain security blanket on the defensive side of the ball. And then offensively, you bring in a young guy who's had some success and that is considered a rising star. And, when you have veteran offensive coordinators like a Bill O'Brien type guy, you might knock heads a little bit in terms of what he wants to do versus what you want to do. Saban has a young offensive coordinator that he could say to him, look, this is what I want to do. I want to impose our will, and you go and do that. And when you have a young offensive coordinator that way, I think he's able to dictate those terms a little bit more. And I think that that's a certain amount of the success and the comfort that Nick Saban is feeling probably right now. And I think it re-energized him. I really do. I think this is the kind of thing that has got him excited about this upcoming season, having new staff members.
Hanging out with Thom Abraham on the Bama Football Tailgate Show, Alabama and Middle Tennessee State, MTSU, 6:30 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. All right, last topic I want you to discuss. Your friend Eli Gold is back. He had cancer. He's dealt with a lot of health issues, but he's back behind the microphone, and he's on the play-by-play for the home games that this year, which includes today. What do you think about that?
I'm so excited. I'll be honest with you. I love Eli. I've known him for 20 years now. He befriended me at a young age. He helped me out getting jobs over the years. We used to share Birmingham Bulls hockey games as well and split up that schedule and so on. He's just a great, great man and a great friend. Having said that, I didn't think he was coming back. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. I didn't know if he was going to make it. I'm not talking about make it back to the mic. I mean, make it to be walking this earth right now. Wow. So I'm very, very excited about this. I didn't anticipate it, but him being back in the fold is great. I know that he would just as soon be doing all of the games, but of course they travel with the team, and I think that would be asking a little bit too much of Eli to be doing that. There is 7 home games, 5 road games. I will make a prediction though. He can drive himself to Auburn. I'm just saying. I know Chris Stewart is great. I like Chris as well. Known him 20 years, And I know Chris is, going to be doing these road games. I thought he did a fantastic job last year. Eli will fight for that Iron Bowl. I mean, that is not a long drive, and he can get an Uber, he can get a limo, he can get somebody to drive him over there to Auburn. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does 8 games, including the Iron Bowl, especially if it's a lot on the line, which there should be at a particular point in time. And what about Atlanta? Is that considered a road game? If they make it to Atlanta, is Eli doing that game? Is Chris doing that game? We'll see. Stamina is going to be a thing. They'll be involved pacing. That's a long day for a broadcaster. He has been a part of the pregame and the postgame in the past. I would suspect that they'll tighten up his responsibilities in that. But, he did a bunch of promos for our radio station and other radio stations across the state that are Alabama affiliates. And he sounds good, man. He sounds good. I'm excited for him. Yeah,
it really is exciting to have Eli overcome the odds and get back behind the microphone. All right, Tom, tell everyone how they can follow you and how they can catch your show.
It's on X, X, right? On X, it's at Thom Abraham Show. Of course, I'm a big X guy, But also, of course, 97.7 ESPN the Zone, which we are on today as well. People can listen there. And if you're out of the market, certainly get the 97.7 ESPN the Zone app. And you can listen to all of our shows and my show as well, and all of our high school football action as well. We have 5 high school football games on our streaming network every Friday night that we're very excited about as well. So, a lot of football action covered at 97.7 ESPN the Zone.
The original Bama Tailgate Show is brought to you in part by newlifeart.com. You can look over Tom's shoulder if you're watching right now, and you see one of those Daniel Moore prints. Bama Tailgate gets you a discount at the site, or put in Mick Gillispie as well, the promo code. But it's 23% off through Sunday right now on anything except the new print. That's the best sale that they're going to have all year and probably next year too. 23% off. That could be a big canvas. That could be one of the prints that you wanted. They redid some of them that are great, like the win against Arkansas in the national championship game. I love those things. I see Brody Croyle right next to your American flag, Tom. But newlifeart.com, Daniel Moore and those guys, they're the best. I love them. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk to David Pascal from the Times Free Press and Chat.